Good evening and welcome to the Maundy Thursday service here at Unity Center of Cedar Rapids. Tonight's service is reflective and prayerful. It is a quiet service, and so I invite you into that posture, into that awareness of prayer. As you open yourself to a deeper understanding of life and substance, as you rekindle important Christ-like attributes within you, and as you rededicate yourself to the unfoldment of your own Christ nature, and also recommit yourself to be of service to God and to the world. Again, welcome. Maundy comes from a Latin word, mandatum, from which we derive two words, mandate and commandment. On Maundy Thursday, we commemorate the commandment that Jesus gave to us as recorded in John 13, a new commandment, he called it. Love one another as I have loved you. As I have loved you, so shall you love one another. This is Jesus' commandment, his new commandment. And Jesus' love was expansive. It was healing. It was transformative. It was inclusive. There was no one that he did not invite to the table. He drew the circle wide to welcome all. And so tonight we remember, just as he asked us to do this in remembrance of him, and to remember his new commandment and his mandate to love. So tonight's service is one of the most ancient of the Holy Week observances. Often in a service like this, one would light candles and then extinguish candles as one approaches the Good Friday Vigil. However, it's important right now at this particular time in the world not to go from light to shadows, but from shadows to light. And so tonight we will rekindle some important attributes in us as we light 4 candles that represent attributes within Jesus, attributes of his divine nature that we possess as well. These are peace, wholeness, faith, and loving service. And so this service, again, is quiet, it is reflective, it is prayerful, it is a meditation. So let's begin with a prayer, with an affirmation. In quiet communion with God, I partake of divine life and substance. I rekindle the awareness of my sacred self as I commit to be the heart, the hands, and the voice of God in expression. And so it is. Amen.
Break thou the bread of life, dear Lord, to me, as thou didst break the loaves beside the sea. Beyond the sacred page, I seek thee, Lord. My spirit pants for thee, O living word. Bless thou the truth, dear Lord, to me, as thou didst bless the bread by Galilee. Then shall all bondage cease, all fetters fall, and as now I seek the Christ, clearly I see, and I give thanks for truth revealed to me. My mind is filled with light, my heart is pure, for now at last I know the way is sure.
Again, tonight we will light 4 candles. And our first candle represents the idea, the attribute of peace. John 14:27. Peace I leave you, peace I give unto you. Not as the world give I unto you. Let not your heart be troubled, neither let it be afraid. Let these words be your words. I know that the Christ in me is my peace in every circumstance. During any stressful or concerning time, I rekindle the light of peace within me. God strengthens me and helps me through any troubling moment. For as I turn to God for peace and assurance, I am gently reminded that I am never alone. I am enfolded in the love and care of God now and forevermore. God is the source of inner peace that I need right now to move through any change or challenge. And so we affirm, we are poised and centered in the mind and heart of God. Nothing can disturb the calm peace of our souls. And so we light this candle for peace. Wholeness. Matthew 6:22. The eye is the lamp of the body. So if your eye is healthy, your whole body will be full of light. Again, let these words be your words. I am a divine expression of God, whole, strong, resilient, and vitally alive. I am made in the image and after the likeness of God, and I have the capacity for wholeness, for healing, for health, physically, emotionally, and spiritually. So when a health challenge arises in me or someone I love, I visualize wholeness in the midst of the situation and affirm a mighty healing. And I know that any illness is temporary, while the immanence of God is permanent. I affirm wholeness, and the life of God flows through me and through those I love. We affirm, in God we are whole and healed. And so we light this candle for wholeness. Faith. Matthew 6:25-34. Therefore I tell you, do not be anxious about your life, what you will eat or what you will drink, nor about your body, what you will put on. Is life not more than food, and the body more than clothing? Look at the birds of the air. They neither sow nor reap nor gather into barns, yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not of more value than they? And which of you, by being anxious, can add a single hour to his span of life? And why are you anxious about clothing? Consider the lilies of the field. They neither spin nor toil. Yet I tell you, even Solomon in all his glory was not arrayed like one of these. Faith enables us to perceive what may not seem evident but is true. God's healing, guiding presence is always with you. This is the blessed assurance that assuages the anxiety of troubled times. With this assurance, we know that God continues to pour out mighty blessings upon us. And the brilliance of God's presence shines in and through us, revealing the way before us. Our lives are rich in love and understanding because the assurance of God's presence is uppermost in our minds and hearts. And so we affirm, my faith is the blessed assurance of God's presence. And so we light this candle for faith. The fourth Christ ideal that we will rekindle within ourselves this evening is loving service. John 13:15, for I have set before you an example that you also should do as I have done to you. Again, the word Maundy loosely translates as mandate or commandment, and we are to remember as we rekindle this important attribute within ourselves, that new commandment that Jesus gave to us. Love one another as I have loved you. Love in the manner that I have loved, expansively, inclusively. Allow yourself to be a transforming presence of love in the world. And before Jesus gave his disciples this new commandment to love, he washed his disciples' feet, and then he said, I have set before you an example. Take these words to heart, remembering also the words of Mahatma Gandhi. The best way to find yourself is to lose yourself in service to others. And so we follow Jesus' example of service as well as his commandment to love as he loved. And so we affirm, in service to others, I find my true self. We light this candle for loving service.
Loving God, loving each other, making music with my friends. Loving God, loving each other, and the story never ends.
They push back from the table to listen to his words, his secret plan before he had to go. It's not complicated, don't need a lot of words. This is all you need to know.
Loving God, with explanations of the way. But if we stop and listen and break a little bread, we would hear the Master say, loving God, loving each other, making music with my friends, loving God, loving each other, and the story never ends. And the story never ends.
And now let's follow Jesus' example, the example that he set before us. We pay so much attention to our hands these days with washing and sanitizing, but our hands are truly the hands of God. If you feel comfortable, invite those in your household to gather around with you. Get a glass of water, a pitcher of water, a bowl of water, and let's take a moment, and if you're alone, do this by yourself, of course, but let's take a moment to wash each other's hands, to consecrate them as the hands of Christ, Christ's self, and to rededicate them into service to God and the Christ as it expresses in and through us. Pour water over your hands to consecrate them to God, to remember, to do this in remembrance of the commandment that Jesus gave us, to love one another as he loved. And let's affirm and know the Christ light in me sees the Christ light in you. Open yourself to be this Christ light in the world as you rededicate yourself to be the hands, the heart, the voice of Christ.
Use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. I used to think God was the sun, God is the sun, but God's so much more than the earth or the stars or all of creation. God is creator, all in all, needing us to shine its light as me, as you, so use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I they do commend my life. It's here for you. God is the love that heals all creation. God is creator, makes all things new. And God needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. And God needs us to shine His light, and God needs us to shine His light, and God needs us to shine His light as me, as you. So use me, oh God, I stand for you, and here I'll abide as you show me all that I must do. Show me that all that I must do. Show me all that I must do.
The night that we remember was a gathering of friends. It was a celebration, but a time in which Jesus assuaged grief and reminded his disciples of the example, indeed, that he had set before them. And so we are told that Jesus took bread and he broke it, and he gave it to his disciples, and he said, "Take and eat, all of you." And likewise, he took the cup. He blessed it and he gave it to his disciples, and he said, "Take and drink, all of you." Jesus broke the bread that symbolizes for us divine substance, that which undergirds all creation, that which is our divine birthright. He broke it, which again symbolizes the inbreaking of this awareness into our consciousness, into our understanding. It represents an opening of our eyes. And the cup represents divine life, life that is that which animates and gives breath to all of creation. And so I invite you to take a bite of the bread, the cracker, whatever you have in front of you. And as you do so, affirm that divine substance is your inheritance. Know that it is the very thing out of which you are formed and fashioned. It is the very essence of God that undergirds all things. Take and eat. And take the cup. Take a drink. And as you do so, allow it to quicken within you the remembrance of the very life that flows through you, of the breath of the Holy Spirit that breathes through you, that animates you, that motivates you, that invigorates you. Appropriate for yourself substance and life. Thank you for joining us this evening. We affirm as we leave this gathering today the prayer for protection, and we remember our recommitment to the new commandment that Jesus gave us. We do this in remembrance of Him, to love one another as He loved us, to love in the manner that Jesus loved. And so we affirm and know the light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever I am, God is. And truly we know that all is well. God bless you.
Come, thou fount of every blessing, tune my heart to sing thy grace. Streams of mercy, never ceasing, call for songs of loudest praise. Teach me some melodious sonnet, sung by flaming tongues above. Praise His name, I'm fixed upon it, name of God's redeeming love. Hitherto thy love has blessed me, thou hast brought me to this place, and I know thy hand will lead me safely home by thy good grace. Jesus sought me when a stranger, wandering from the fold of God. He to rescue me from danger called me home by His great love. Oh, to grace how great a debtor daily I'm constrained to be. Let thy goodness like a fetter bind my wandering heart to thee. Prone to wander, Lord, I feel it. Prone to leave the God I love. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for thy courts above. Here's my heart, oh, take and seal it for thy above.